Let's make connections. Okay, there's something, so it looks like we're going here. New internet coming tomorrow, kids, so hold on for that. Hi, I'm your Heavenly Father. It is a beautiful new day. Less than 2 weeks to Ejection Day. Which means that it's less than 45 days till we find out who the next president of the United States is going to be. Looks like we're up and running. Hello, everybody watching on Twitter, Periscope. Hello, Twitch. Hello, the Facebook. Here we go, YouTubes. Let's get going with this. Right away, here's a black guy in Philadelphia. He's got something to say about the election.
Since the Democratic convention, we've got a nice crowd over there in Philadelphia, but they've driven their cars there. You'll see a wide shot fairly soon. The former president, let's listen in.
Hello, Philadelphia!
Hello.
Man, it is good to be back in Pennsylvania. What beautiful weather we got here, a little Indian summer. You know, I know the president spent some time in Erie last night, and apparently he complained about having to travel here. And then he cut the event short, poor guy. I don't feel that way. I love coming to Pennsylvania. You guys delivered for me twice, and I am back here tonight to ask you to deliver the White House for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I want to thank Mr. Philadelphia, Charlie Mack, his daughter, India Marie. What an outstanding young lady she was. Those of you who are fathers and have daughters, you know how that feels when you see your daughters just shining. I know a little bit about that. And it was great to see.
The fuck are those people wearing on their face? This is a rally, people.
Representatives Brendan Boyle.
They obviously don't know how this works.
Mary Gay Scanlon, Governor Tom Wolf, Attorney General Josh Shapiro, Mayor Jim Kenney. Philadelphia, we got 13 days. That's our lucky number right here. 13 days until the most important election of our lifetimes.
That is true.
And you don't have to wait for November 3rd to cast your ballot.
Wait, did he say Bamit? Did he hold on? Did he say did he
number right here.
Oh no, he got it right.
13 days until the most important election of our lifetimes. And you don't have to wait for November 3rd to cast your ballot.
Ballot, yeah, he said ballot.
You've got 2 ways to vote right now. Number 1, you can vote early in person through next Tuesday.
Look at this guy. Look how cool this guy is.
Early already?
I like this guy.
Just, if you haven't, just go to iwillvote.com/PA and find out where you can vote early.
I'm sorry, but if I'm there.
Number 2, you can vote from home with a mail-in ballot. Just go to iwillvote.com/PA to request your ballot right away.
I'm chanting.
Before you send it back, Pennsylvania's got this thing where you've got to use both envelopes. So you've got to read the directions carefully to make sure your vote counts. And if you've already voted, then you've got to help your friends and family make a plan to vote.
We miss you.
We
miss you. We miss you.
Or if you vote in person on election day, because this election requires every single one of us to do our part.
We miss anyone who can put a coherent sentence together. We miss anyone who can put a coherent sentence together.
Will matter for decades to come. Now, last time I was in Philadelphia, I was at the Constitution Center. And I was delivering a speech for the Democratic National Convention this year. And I said during that speech, I've sat in the Oval Office with both of the men who are running for president. And they are very different people. I explained that I never thought Donald Trump would embrace my vision or continue my policies, but I did hope for the sake of the country, that he might show some interest in taking the job seriously. But it hasn't happened. He hasn't shown any interest in doing the work or helping anybody but himself and his friends, or treating the presidency like a reality show that he can use to get attention. And by the way, even then his TV ratings are down. So you know that upsets him. But the thing is, this is not a reality show, this is reality. And the rest of us have had to live with the consequences of him proving himself incapable of taking the job seriously. At least 220,000 Americans have died. More than 100,000 small businesses have closed. Millions of jobs are gone. Our proud reputation around the world is in tatters. Presidents up for re-election usually ask if the country is better off than it was 4 years ago. Well, I'll tell you one thing. 4 years ago, you'd be tailgating here at the Link instead of watching a speech from your cars.
Damn right.
The only people truly better off than they were 4 years ago are the billionaires who got his tax cuts. Right now, as we speak, Trump won't even extend relief to the millions of families who are having trouble paying the rent or putting food on the table because of this pandemic. But he's been doing all right by himself. As it turns out, this was just reported in the last 48 hours. We know that he continues to do business with China because he's got a secret Chinese bank account. How is that possible? How is that possible? A secret Chinese bank account. Listen, can you imagine if I had a secret Chinese bank account when I was running for re-election? You think Fox News might have been a little concerned about that? They would have called me Beijing Barry. It is not a great idea to have a president who owes a bunch of money to people overseas. That's not a good idea. I mean, of the taxes Donald Trump pays, he may be sending more to foreign governments than he pays in the United States. His first year in the White House, he only paid $750 in federal income tax. Listen, my first job was at a Baskin Robbins when I was 15 years old. I think I might have paid more taxes that year working at a dispensing ice cream. How is that possible?
Next one, it's coming. Let me pull it up. And we're going to have to back it up. It's coming. I should be watching this on the Caspan or something. Go ahead. There we go.
It is not a great idea.
We saw this part. Here we go.
So, I think I might have paid more taxes that year working at a dispensing ice cream. How is that possible? How many people here paid less than that? It's possible, just possible now, that if you are living high on the hog and you only pay $750 in taxes, that maybe, just maybe, he might not know what working people are going through here in Pennsylvania. We cannot afford 4 more years of this, Philadelphia. But the good news is, right now you can choose change. Right now you can vote for my friend Joe Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris as the next president and vice president of the United States of America. Now, Joe's no stranger to here. He's a native son. Scrappy kid from Scranton. You know him. And you know he knows you. But let me tell you how I came to know him and how I came to love him. 12 years ago, when I chose Joe Biden as vice president, as my vice presidential running mate, I didn't know Joe all that well. We had served in the Senate together, but we weren't super close. He and I came from different places. We came from different generations. But I came to admire Joe as a man who has learned early on to treat everybody he meets with dignity and respect. Living by the words his parents taught him. No one's better than you, Joe, but...
Yeah, I noticed that, DS. It's nicely framed. Look what's right behind him here. Lincoln, let's have a party.
You're better than nobody. And that empathy, that decency, that belief that everybody counts, that's who Joe is. That's who he'll be. And I can tell you the presidency doesn't change who you are, it reveals who you are. And Joe has shown himself to be a friend of working people. For 8 years, Joe was the last one in the room when I faced a big decision. He made me a better president, and he's got the character and experience to make us a better country. And he and Kamala are going to be in the fight, not for themselves, but for every single one of us. Look, I get that this president wants full credit for the economy he inherited.
Yeah.
And zero blame for the pandemic that he ignored. But you know what? The job doesn't work that way.
Banknote, if you were a fan of the live stream, which you're not, you would know what life is all about. Anyone, what is life all about? I've said it 1,000 times. Well, maybe not to you guys, but I have said it. Yeah, we're getting new. Somebody tell me, what is life about?
Tweeting at the television doesn't fix things. Making stuff up doesn't make people's lives.
Whoa, 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 whoa! What are you talking about? Twitter doesn't fix things. What the hell have I been doing the last? I was in HuffPo.
It's better. You've got to have a plan. You've got to put in the, and along with concrete plans and policies that will turn our vision of a better, fairer, stronger country into a reality. We literally left this White House a pandemic playbook.
They did. That is true. Hey, guys, a politician just literally used the word literally correctly. All right, this guy wins. Moving on. Next president. Everybody else out.
Before the virus reached our shores. They probably used it to, I don't know, prop up a wobbly table somewhere. We don't know where that playbook went.
Well, hold on. That's actually a lie. We do know where it went. They held it up at the press conference.
Take the basic steps to protect himself. Just last night, he complained up in Erie that the pandemic made him go back to work. I'm quoting here. He was upset that the pandemic's made him go back to work. If he'd actually been working the whole time, it never would have gotten this bad.
That is incorrect. If he had been working this whole time, it would be probably even far worse.
So look, here's the truth.
Yeah.
I want to be honest here.
Oh.
This pandemic would have been challenging for any president.
Slow down, cowboy.
But this idea that somehow this White House has done anything but completely screw this up is just not true. I'll give you a very specific example. Korea identified its first case at the same time that the United States did.
South Korea.
At the same time. Their per capita death toll is just 1.3% of what ours is. In Canada, it's just 39% of what ours is. Other countries are still struggling with the pandemic, but they're not doing as bad as we are because they've got a government that's actually been paying attention. And that means lives lost, and that means an economy that doesn't work. Trump said, not much. Really? Not much?
Yeah.
Nothing you can think of that could have. He's not going to call scientists idiots. He's not going to host a super spreader event at the White House. Joe will get this pandemic under control with a plan to make testing free and widely available, to get a vaccine to every American cost-free, and to make sure our frontline heroes never to ask other countries for the equipment they need. His plan will guarantee paid sick leave for workers and parents affected by the pandemic, and make sure that the small businesses that hold our communities together and employ millions of Americans can reopen safely. You know, Donald Trump likes to claim he built this economy, but America created 1.5 million more jobs in the last 3 years of the Obama-Biden administration than in the first 3 years of the Trump-Pence administration. How you figure that? And that was before he could blame the pandemic. Now, he did inherit the longest streak of job growth in American history, but just like everything else he inherited, he messed it up. The economic damage he inflicted by botching the pandemic response means he will be the first president since Herbert Hoover to actually lose jobs. Joe's got a plan to create 10 million good, clean energy jobs as part of a historic $2 trillion investment to fight climate change, to secure environmental justice. And he'll pay for it by rolling back that tax cut for billionaires. And Joe sees this moment not just as a chance to get back to where we were, but to finally make long overdue changes so that our economy actually makes life a little easier for everybody. The waitress trying to raise her kid on her own. The student trying to figure out how to pay for next semester's classes. The shift worker who's always on the edge of getting laid off. The cancer survivor who's worried about her pre-existing conditions protections being taken away. Let me tell you something, Pennsylvania. This I know to be true. Joe and Kamala will protect your health care and expand Medicare and make insurance more affordable for everybody. You know, Republicans love to say right before an election that they'll protect your pre-existing conditions. Now, Joe and I actually protected your policies to make sure people with pre-existing conditions could get health insurance and have coverage. We did it through something called the Affordable Care Act, AKA Obamacare. And Republicans tried to repeal or undermine it more than 60 times. And when they've been asked about it, they keep on promising, we're going to have a great, it's coming. It's been coming in 2 weeks for the last 10 years. Where is it? Where is this great plan to replace Obamacare? They've had 10 years to do it. There is no plan. They've never had one. Instead, they've attacked the Affordable Care Act at every turn, driving up costs, driving up the uninsured. Now they're trying to dismantle your care in the Supreme Court as we speak, as quickly as they can, in the middle of a pandemic, with nothing empty promises to take its place. It's shameful. The idea that you would take health care away from people at the very moment. There is no logic. Joe knows that A president is to keep us safe from all threats, foreign, domestic, or microscopic. When the daily intelligence briefings flash warning signs about a virus, a president can't ignore me. Just like when Russia puts bounties on the heads of our soldiers in Afghanistan, the commander-in-chief can't be missing in action. I can tell you this, Joe Biden would never call the men and women of our military suckers or losers. Who does that? These heroes are somebody's children, somebody's spouse, somebody's dad or mom. He understands that. And he's going to restore our standing in the world because he knows that America's true strength comes from setting an example that the world wants to follow. A nation that stands with democracy, not dictators. A nation that can mobilize and inspire others to overcome threats like climate change and terrorism and poverty and disease. And with Joe and Kamala at the helm, you're not going to have to think about the crazy things they said every day. And that's worth a lot. You're not going to have to argue about them every day. It just won't be so exhausting. You might be able to have a Thanksgiving dinner without having an argument. You'll go about your lives knowing that the president is not going to retweet conspiracy theories about secret cabals running the world or that Navy SEALs didn't actually kill bin Laden. Think about that. The president of the United States retweeted that. Imagine. What?
Yeah.
We're not going to have a president that goes out of his way to insult anybody who doesn't support him or threaten them with jail. That's not normal presidential behavior.
Lock him up. Lock him up.
We wouldn't tolerate it from a high school principal. We wouldn't tolerate it from a coach. We wouldn't tolerate it from from the president.
And we've got a little bit of throughput. We're coming back. We're coming back. Stay with me. And yeah, we are pushing through. It's going to be very low res, guys, so it's not your fault on your end. I'm hoping YouTube still picks it up. I think this is going to a second broadcast on Twitter. And I see a little bit of throughput coming through. We're going to give it a shot. Come on, as soon as I see... Here we go.
Character matters.
Welcome back, everybody. I paused it for you. Hopefully, you're still seeing things on YouTube. I don't know, because my download is so bad. Hold on. Let me jump off of one. I'm going to play this for you guys. I'll be back in a second.
An economic collapse. I mean...
Am I live at all?
The person who runs...
Hold on. Can anybody see me? I don't know if I'm broadcasting here. I'm not seeing anything go up on the dashboard. Really? Really? Come on. I might have to stop down altogether. If someone can see this, I might have to stop down altogether and restart here. I don't know if anyone can see me. If anybody can see me, say hi. And... Let me try again. Okay. Okay, all right. I'll say it looks like we're up on YouTube. So, but very, very poorly. Hold on. Let me give us a little something. I'm going to give us a boost here, and I'm going to pay Verizon all my monies. Hold on. Let's do this. Hopefully it'll be fixed for the Trump rally tonight, but it won't be. But again, we're getting new internets tomorrow. Okay, and we're off. Go Obama.
Medicaid right now to kick people off of Medicaid instead of sign them up for Medicaid.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Forgot the
when
man.
When Joe and Kamala are in charge,
you're doing well.
They're not going to surround themselves with
I feel seen.
Hacks and lobbyists. But they're going to appoint qualified public servants who actually care about looking out for you, for your job, for your family, for your health, for your security, for your planet. And that, more than anything, is what separates them from their opponents. They actually care about every American.
What?
Including the ones that don't agree with them. And they're going to fight for you.
Not California, though.
Every day. They care about you, and they care about this democracy. They believe in a democracy. The right to vote is sacred. And that we shouldn't be making people wait in line for 10 hours to cast their ballot. We should be making it easier for everybody to vote. They believe that no one, especially the president,
Thank you, Green Room. I appreciate that very much.
is above the law. Then
Green Room, be careful with that, because I know you guys in Ireland are like shut down right now. I don't. Here's how you can help, guys. If you don't have any extra money sitting around to donate, and who does? Nobody. If you don't, I'm gonna be okay. Hopefully, I'll book this gig that I auditioned for the other day, and then I'll have a little extra money for a couple of weeks. But here's the thing: once we get fixed. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll have some internets and they'll be constant. And then share the broadcast. Bring friends. Producer Joanna just brought a friend yesterday. So just spread the word, I guess. That's the way you can help. Let's move on.
understand that protest on behalf of social justice isn't un-American. That's the most American thing there is. That's how this country was founded.
Goddamn right. Can I just remind everybody who was like, hey, term limits are a great idea. Okay? Right there. Right there. That guy. That guy. He can't be president anymore. He's not allowed to. Because Constitution.
They understand.
By the way, as you know, it wasn't in the original Constitution. This was added after FDR. Because Republicans are like, we're never going to get the presidency again.
We don't threaten our political opponents, threatening to throw them in jail just because we disagree with them.
I appreciate
They
it, Greener.
understand that our ability to work together to solve big problems like a pandemic depends more than on just photo ops. It depends on actually learning the facts.
What?
And following the science.
This guy's
and
crazy.
not just making stuff up whenever it's convenient. Our democracy is not going to work if the people who are supposed to be our leaders lie every day and just make things up.
Hold on, I'm going to fact check that. I got something.
I mean, and we've just become numb to it. We just become immune to it.
Have we?
Every single day.
Is everybody immune?
Fact checkers can't keep up.
Can you just hold on?
And look, this notion
Can we go back
of
on
truthfulness and democracy and citizenship and being responsible.
and humanity?
These aren't Republican or Democratic principles, they're American principles.
They were Republican.
They're what we most of us grew up learning from our parents and our grandparents. They're not white or black or Latino or Asian values, they're American values.
Oh, I thought he was talking about our
Human
grandparents.
values.
My grandparents are very white.
And we need to reclaim them. We have to get those values back at the center of our public life. And we can, but to do it, we've got to turn out like never before. We cannot leave any doubt in this election. Because you know, the president's already said, if this is even close, I'm going to just make stuff up. He's already started to do it. So we can't have any doubt. We can't be complacent. I don't care about the polls. There were a whole bunch of polls last time. Didn't work out because a whole bunch of folks stayed at home.
They did.
And got lazy and complacent. Not this time. Not in this election. Not this time.
Honk if you're Barry.
Listen. I understand why a lot of Americans can get frustrated by government and can feel...
I totally want to go to a rally at a drive-thru and just be able to honk my horn endlessly. I would just set off my car alarm and walk away. And everybody like, yeah, good job. Yeah, this guy gets it.
Like it doesn't make a difference. Even supporters of mine, during my 8 years, there were times where stuff we wanted to get done didn't get done. And people said, well, you know, gosh, if Obama didn't get it done, then, you know, maybe it's just not going to happen. Look, government is not going to solve every problem. It's true. Every elected official is going to make some mistakes. This is a big, complicated country, and the system's designed so that change happens slowly. It doesn't happen overnight. And believe me, I've got firsthand experience with the way Republicans in Congress abuse the rules to make it easy for special interests to stop progress.
Yep.
But we can make things better. And we sure shouldn't be making things worse. A president by himself can't solve every challenge in a global economy. But if we've got Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in the White House and a House and Senate that are focused on working people, it can make a difference and get millions of people the help they need. A president by himself can't eliminate all racial bias in our criminal justice system, but if we've got district attorneys and state's attorneys and sheriffs and police chiefs focused on equality and justice, it can make things better. In Pennsylvania, you just got to flip 9 seats in your state house, just 5 seats in your state senate to give Democrats control and new life for policies that'll make a real difference to working families right now. It can make things better. And in the end, Pennsylvania, that's what voting's about. Making things better.
Comment on the Trump train. The Trump broadcast is still there. Trump hasn't come out yet, but the comment, I'm just reading the comments as they're going up there. And one of them was, even YouTube was corrupt. The quality on the last rally was really low. Yep, YouTube, all corrupted.
Not making things perfect, but putting us on track so that...
It was Trump's feed, by the way.
A generation from now, we can...
Trump should get like the new internets that I'm getting, the DSL.
Look back and say, things got better starting now. And that's what voting's about. Voting's about using the power we have and pooling it together to get a government that's more concerned and more responsive and more focused on you and your lives and your children and your grandchildren and future generations. And the fact that we don't get 100% of what we want right away is not a good reason not to vote. It means we've got to vote and then get some change and then vote some more and then get some more change and then keep on voting until we get it right. And we will never come close to seeing what it would be like if everybody voted. When I hear people saying, well, I don't know, your voting doesn't make a difference. We don't know because usually no more than half the people who could be voting vote.
That is true.
We get 50, 55% of people voting, and then people say, well, look, you know, not enough change happened. Well, imagine what would happen if 60% voted. What about 70%? Imagine January 20th when we swear in a president and a vice president who have a plan to get us out of this mess, who believe in science and have a plan to protect this planet for our kids, and who care about working Americans and have a plan to help you start getting ahead, and who believe in racial equality and gender equality, and believe in not discriminating against people because of their sexual orientation, and are willing to bring us closer to an America where no matter what we look like and where we come from and who we love and what our last name is, If we go out there and we work, we can make it. And we're part of an American family. All of that is...
Big shout out to Allison. The internet is brought to you by Allison. Thank you, Allison. She sent me some money on the PayPals. I appreciate that. PayPal.me/KevinLeeDad. Hopefully we'll get this thing fixed tomorrow. So thank you very much. If you're watching this, if you can actually see this, thank Ruth Ann right now.
Possible. All of that is within our reach if we vote. Because let me tell you something, Pennsylvania, some people ask me sometimes, they say, man, how have you been able to take it these last 4 years, just watching all this? how do you keep your spirits up? And I tell them, I say, look,
I've begun drinking.
For all the times these last 4 years that we've seen our worst impulses revealed, we've also seen what our country can be at its best. We've seen folks of every age and background who've packed city centers and airports and town squares just so families wouldn't be separated, so another classroom wouldn't get shot up, so our kids wouldn't grow up on an uninhabitable planet. We've seen Americans of all races joining together to declare in the face of injustice that Black Lives Matter, no more but no less, so that no child in this country feels the continuing sting of racism. We've seen folks, our essential workers, our healthcare workers, risking their lives day in, day out to save somebody else's loved ones. We've seen people volunteer and contribute to help those who are having an especially difficult time right now. That's true in Pennsylvania. That's true all across the country. America is a good and decent place. But we've just seen so much noise and nonsense that sometimes it's hard for us to remember. Philadelphia, I'm asking you to remember what this country can be, what it's like when we treat each other with respect and dignity, what it's like when our elected officials actually behave responsibly. I'm asking you to believe in Joe's ability, in Kamala's ability.
Who's Joe's ability?
To lead this country out of these dark times and help us build it back better. Because we can't abandon those who are hurting right now. We can't abandon the children who aren't getting the education they need right now. We can't abandon those protesters who inspired us. We've got to channel their activism into action. We can't just imagine a better future. We've got to fight for it. We've got to out-hustle the other side. We've got to outwork the other side. We've got to vote like never before and leave no doubt. So make a plan right now for how you're going to get involved and vote. Do it as early as you can. Tell your family, tell your friends how they can vote. Don't stop with Joe and Kamala. Make sure you vote all the way down the ticket.
I did. First time in my life.
And if we pour all our efforts into these 13 days, if we vote up and down the ticket like never before, then we will not only elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, we will also leave no doubt about what this country that we love stands.
Thank you, Marcy. Marcy sent me some money for the interwebs as well. Thank you, Marcy. I appreciate it.
For. We will not leave any doubt about who we are as a people and the values and ideals that we embrace. What Lincoln called the better angels of our nature, those are still in us. We see them operating every single day. We see them in neighborhoods. We see them in churches and synagogues and mosques and temples. We see them in people helping out a neighbor. We see them inside our own families. We see that what is best in us is still there. But we've got to give it voice. And we've got to do it now.
Okay.
So let's get to work, people. Let's bring this home. I love you, Philadelphia. Honk if you're fired up. Honk if you're ready to go. Are you fired up? Are you ready to go? Are you fired up? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, but I have a bell.
Let's go make it happen. I love you, Philadelphia.
I'm not horny.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't have a whole.
I love you.
The former president of the United States, Barack Obama, clearly still has it, speaking for a little bit more than a half an hour.
Clearly still has it. Oh, man. Okay. So let's see if Trump has started up yet. We're going to hit the Trump rally in a second. I'm going to post the link right now on the YouTubes. So that is where we're going to head because we already have a project set up for the Trump rally. It is... Oh, they're just starting to broadcast that. So I'll do what I can to get a feed on that, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. The broadcast is going to end in 5, 4,